Alright guys, welcome back to Project GoodSpeed, and on today's video we are doing electrical stuff on the little hatchback. As you guys can clearly see, we are already started. So let me show you guys. In the last couple videos, I have been trying to restore my hatchback and modify a few certain things. And on today's video, we are going to be tackling a certain modification that I've wanted to do for a while. Now, obviously, I can't show you that on my Civic right now because there's no interior, but basically, whenever the light is on, it's pretty much only for the passengers in the rear, and everyone up here is kind of being blocked by it, which is why modern cars now have a light here. A light here makes it a whole lot easier to use whenever you drop something down here or you need to find anything, right? Even the CR-V has one. So that is what I wanted to tackle today, and I managed to find one that I think fits my style, which is this Integra one here. You guys can see this is the Integra one, and it's pretty straightforward, and it has two buttons, one for the driver and one for the passenger. That is what we got going on today. So we're going to be heading off to the junkyard to find all of these parts and pieces that I'm going to use to makeshift my own DIY map light. Of course, it's going to take a while to find the wiring, the process, the layout, and the parts before I can actually install it. So we're not going to be installing this today. I'm just going to be gathering all of the parts that I need. Another thing that I'm going to be addressing and keeping my eye out for, right, is the cargo light. Basically, all of these lights here are interior lights, and they technically should, or could at least, theoretically, be wired onto the same circuit. So long as I don't exceed the demand of that circuit, I don't see why I shouldn't be able to, especially because I now have LEDs, so the power draw is going to be very minimal compared to before. I'll have a cabin light, which is really the only thing interior light on this circuit. And I'm gonna be adding the trunk light. I'm gonna actually be tapping into the existing circuit because as I have it wired in right now, is at a add a fuse method, right? And it's really basically only one light for one fuse and another light for another fuse. And it seems kind of redundant really. And I'm gonna be adding a third light, which is gonna be the map light if I find a way to wire it together. So technically all of this probably should be able to be wired into the same circuit. You just got to figure out how to make this, work. Today we're just going to be searching for all the wiring and stuff that I think I'm going to need to put all of this together in one piece. Now my plan, right, was to get something like this wiring already installed for the dome light and just rewire one for a map light. So it shouldn't be all that difficult to find that stuff. And then at the bottom, I'll be able to tap into the fuse panel, which someone took, because these Civics come with optional accessories that you can just plug into with a specific wire that is attached to some of these door panels if you ever find yourself looking for those specific plugins. Anyway, that's what we're here to do today. We're looking for cables, wires, plugs. We're going to be depinning stuff and stuff like that because I'm going to find a way to reroute my trunk light into the OEM design, and I think it can be done. And I am looking for the OEM wire harness slash cables that go to this EJ Coupes or trunk light, and I found the connection here. You guys can see it's mounted on here. Oh, I can't see it. Let me zoom in right there. You see that white and red one down at the bottom? That's the one that I need. Unfortunately, I need to take all of this out, and somebody went ahead and did this. Oh man, real bummer. Well, at the very least I can see where it hooks up at the back here because I need the cable obviously to wire in my light and tap into the fuse panel here, but I also don't know where it goes. So now that I can access this fuse panel, it would be a lot easier to see where a white and red cable goes. And somebody took the dash. And they did it without... No, they definitely removed the steering wheel. I was about to say, I came here to do the same thing, but I actually bought a nut for the steering wheel this time, but that's besides the point. Let's see if I can find the white and red cable. So, I've disconnected all the plugs, all of these green ones. This one is the only one that had a white and red cable here, and it's right there on the bottom. So this is where it plugs in like this. The fuse panel, imagine it was here, we just plug in directly like that, and it is located right on this side, bottom. So the only one that has this one is the main wire harness, and unfortunately Like I said, it's been cut off down here at the bottom. So, oh no, great. Hold on a minute. Where does this go? This has a white and red. Okay, I can't figure it out. But I'm gonna go ahead and just take this whole clip and try to depin it over there. I accidentally pulled one off practicing right there in the middle. You see, there's no cable there. But it should be the same as this one. If it is this one, and I don't think I'll be able to remove that one anyway, but I can easily install this one. I'm pretty sure it's the same length connection. Yeah, so it should work. And the one other thing I'm going to take is this. Dude, what happened? Oh man. Oh yeah, this is a whole lot easier. This is what happens when you do stuff with knowledge and not brute force. So that removes this, and I can go ahead and just use the pin. Very little force now because my phone will fall over. Okay, so it's the top one here. Boom, look at that. Haha. So now this cable here will be used to tap into the fuse panel. I already have a cable to, leads to the light, and I just picked up the cable that leads from the light to what exactly? What did I take? Oh, the other half. This is the part that connects to this cable. Obviously it was cut and spliced in half. I'll have to makeshift my own somehow, but you guys get the idea. And I just wanted to confirm it's the right length, and it is. And also be very careful when you pop this thing off. The little plastic here piece that's like a S shaped, it kind of keeps it together. That one over there doesn't have the cable that I need. This one here does have a light, so it is wired. So I'm gonna go ahead and chase down this white and red wire here, see where it leads. Oh, of course it's also cut. Dude, seriously, oh man. What is going on here, bro? How am I supposed to compare if every car I come across is just being cut apart? This one also has it. Check it right there. And come on. No, you've got to be kidding me. What are they doing? What are they doing to these Civics, bro? Oh man, where is it getting, why is it getting cut? I don't understand. Bummer. So there's 1, 2, there's a 4-door and a 3rd Civic over there, and every single one of them has that piece cut off. So I'm unable to find out where that wire goes. I know it goes here. Where is it? Where? Oh no, I took it off. This is the one I took it off of. And then I see the other end here, but I don't know where it's plugged into, and I don't know where this goes. It looks like it goes outside. There's a giant loom in there, which looks like it might be spliced onto here, because this is where it hooks up to the main wire harness right here. But here it is where it's spliced into 2. If you guys can tell, this is what this tape is. It splices 2 cables in here, and one of them is for the interior light here, which I also took off. So if I can't find that clip, where on that clip it goes, I think my next best thing to do is just to tap into the interior light. I mean, it is part of the circuit, so it shouldn't affect it. It'll only affect the look. So that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know whether or not I should take this main harness, which is where the cluster plugs in and everything. It has a intact speaker system and I kind of want it. But I'm definitely taking these speaker wire male plugs so that I can make it look a little bit cleaner. Obviously the colors won't match, but you get the idea. I'm gonna plug into the harness so that we don't have any loose stuff everywhere, you know? So let's talk about depinning some of these clips, which is a male clip and a female clip. The male clip is pretty easy. Actually, both of them are pretty easy once you get the hang of it. And now we can remove the locking mechanism. Oh, I locked it back. Ha. Just like that. These clips are now free to move. Man, I spent a long time figuring this out. This is what happens when you just pull. Oh well. Unhook these ends there. You see right there, there's a little hook. This one's obviously broken because I did that. And once you unhook it from both ends, you'll be able to slide them off. But look at that, this is what you gotta do. After that, you just pretty much push those little plastic retaining clips inside there. You just push them up or down, I can't remember which. And then you just pull the clip right off. But you have to make sure this part is disconnected. And then once you're ready to put it back, just slide it in there. So after a couple tries, here's what I've come up with. In order for me to tap into the OEM system, the OEM wiring of these lights, I haven't been able to find a proper clip to show me exactly where they go, because every single one of these Civics has that clip just cut off. So the wiring is there, but from here up, I don't know where it goes. So I just took some speaker wires and I unplugged them. And you guys can see here, I'm going to be just tapping into that to make it look a lot cleaner. And from that end, I'm going to be tapping into the existing interior light circuit through the map light. I'm just going to splice it right in there. And now it should be a part of the circuit. Now, for my own DIY map light, I'm going to be using that exact same circuit. This is the map light, and this is the clip, right? You see these cables? These are the ones that lead up to the hood, and behind the dash is this little clip. And I'm just going to tap into this, because on this end is where I'll be tapping into the fuse panel. This white one will go to my optional extra, and then this green and red will be a ground, which I can just ground anywhere underneath the dashboard. And that's it. So far, I've got my OEM map light, which I painted black, and this is already wired in, which we will not touch, so we will set that aside. The trunk light here is not wired into the OEM wiring. It is wired into the fuse panel via an add a fuse feature, and I want to change that. So I'm going to be using the OEM plugs to tap into the existing harness and just go ahead and tap into the wire harness on the map light, because I think that's going to be the only solution. Apparently every junkyard that I've visited, well, the only junkyard I visited that has Civics doesn't have the harness that plugs into the white with red stripe wire. I can't find where that goes. So I'm just going to tap into that circuit. And I think that should be enough, because after that, all I need is tap into a ground, and no ground. The signal wire's already tapped in, so I just need to find a power source. So that's going to be it for this one. And the only thing left to address is going to be my DIY map light. And that is where these speaker wires is going to come in handy. I really only need the connections, not so much the wires itself. I just need the male and female connection ends to tap into the OEM harness. So that's what that's for. And which leaves us with all of this other stuff. This is for my map light here. I had to makeshift this one to give it its own grounds, because the Integra map light has a ground connection that is basically just 2 bolts here. These bolts have these little brass spacers, and those brass spacers make contact with the body, so when you screw them down, they hook onto these little brass plates that are supposed to go onto this housing and just completes the grounding circuit. However, you need a bracket that mounts onto those screws, and on my Civic I don't have one, and I'm not about to make one. It's going to be too complicated, which is where the CRV light comes in here. As you guys can see, this CRV light has the connections that I need, which I've already removed. They are right in here. You see these connections where the wires are sticking out? That's what I needed. I've actually replaced it with the ones on here, because all they do is hold the bulb, right? That's all they do. And on the other end, it just has a connection for a ground. So if I connected those together and I have a ground cable now, I can just attach it to the harness from another map light circuit that I took out from another Civic. So here's what I'm thinking. You know, I went back specifically looking for a two-pronged plug, but if I'm going to be tapping into the system anyway, I might as well just use the existing cable harness and just flip it around. Just wire these two here and use the other end to tap into the system. This is why you got to think things through, you know, but it's fine, it's fine. So that's it. I'm just gonna tape this up so that we don't have anything touching. I mean, it's ground anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then we will go ahead and splice the power source together. Okay, that's it. Look at that. My own little map light. And instead of having to unclip this very annoying clip, I could just unclip it from here. And that's it. And the only other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tape up these ground connections because they are hovering really close to the positive connections right there. That's where the power goes onto this, that one there, and that one here, and I just don't want anything, you know, to go wrong. So I'm gonna tape these up and put them back. I think this is gonna work out, to be honest. I don't see a reason why not. Like I said, I'm gonna do some math and figure out exactly how much each one of these bulbs is drawing from the circuit, so that I can actually tap into all of just one circuit and leave the 7.5 fuse in place. If I don't, I'm just gonna keep the map light on a separate circuit, but the cargo light should definitely be enough. So that one will be wired into the circuit. Now that I've collected everything here, guys, and everything is ready for the install, I'm gonna go ahead and just call it here. There's a lot of stuff that I still have to plan out. Like I said, I have to figure out the logistics of wiring all this stuff and to see if I could even do it. So until next time, guys, take care and Goodspeed.